and welcome. Thank you here back a little bit. My apologies for being late. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Oh, happy Saturday, you guys. Let's get this going here. Please like the video as you come into the room. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down on which I see you have already. Yay. Share this video where you share your videos because sharing is caring, and Cash App and Venmo are there for those who would like to hit that good old tip jar. Let me say hello to the people. Hey, Deborah, you got theories already, thinking out of the box. We're going to get into it. What if Snaps had famous unalive? That's a good one. Hey, Candy Love. Hey, DeMarcus Vaughn. You have rated already. You are giving it a solid 9. I love to see it. And you said the white rapper was MC Search from Third Base. Is that who he was supposed to portray? I was wondering. I was trying to figure out some of the people because I figured they would. Yeah, it was a little bit heavy. You didn't think he was going on to glory for is he though? Is he though? Child, you know, this the Power Universe. They do whatever they want to do. If you guys know in real life what's going on with Fame, I tried to Google it and it's not giving me anything. I saw somebody on Reddit say that they had tried to look it up and see exactly what the legal trouble. I don't know if it's legal trouble, if he got a problem with that stuff. I don't know what the problem is, but your girl was unable to come up with a conclusion either. So if you guys know, get down in the comments and let me know, because I think that's what kind of had him not being on this season. I hope y'all can hear me all right. Hold on, let me mute real quick. All right, we're good. I just want to make sure we can hear, because I can't never tell. I don't have it in my ear when I'm solo, so sometimes I'm like, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with him, but I'm assuming it's his personal life is the reason why he's not here this season. Although all along I have been feeling like we were going to get rid of Famous at some point, because, you know, the theory is that he's going to go, and that's why Kanan names his son Sean, even though he ended up taking his son out anyway, sure, because Kanan ain't got no mercy and no hearts, and we still don't get to see that Kanan and that jukebox in this iteration, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. So, child, I don't know what to make of it. Well, yeah, that's what they look. I'm gonna be a conspiracy theorist because Mama could have been in on it. Or no, not the way Mama cried. I don't know. Anything is possible. They can show us that lady going through all of those emotions and give us something completely different in season 5. But I mean, honestly, we really don't need him to move the story along any further. And you know, next week we're still gonna be in Fame territory. So there it is. Fame the lane. Fame should have learned the game. Hey, bars. Tamarcus got bars. What if Famous father Louise took him out? Took out Famous, aka Sean, just like him. That daddy was trash. Let's get into it. I don't know who did what, where, and why. But we're here for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 5, The Nail That Sticks Up. So what Stars gave us is Rock and Marvin navigate a dwindling supply of product while Lou and Imani scout artists together. Joy's condition worsens. Famous mother desperately tries to find him. Yeah, so yes, this was the Famous and Olga episode. What are you guys rating the episode? I think DeMarcus already gave it a solid 9. So you guys let me know. I guess I might be a tough customer. I'm going to give it a 7.5 and a 7.5, 8, because we are definitely putting pieces together to, you know, make a whole complete puzzle. But, you know, I don't really care for the flashback, y'all. I did not. Boo, I know. Tomato. R.I.P. Famous or nah. You guys are letting me know. Candy say he gone. I think Deborah is saying he's gone. Hey, Shayna. DeMarcus, what say you? Famous is gone or nah? So we get a warning at the top of the episode. So I already knew when we get that warning, this is gonna be something. I just hung on for the ride, and they got right into it. I mean, not in the middle of the episode, not at the end of the episode, at the beginning of the episode. We got OG Kanan is narrating for us. That's what the closed caption said. Because remember, I was struggling. I'm like, is it OG Kanan or just supposed to be 50? It's OG Kanan. That's what the caption says. Is narrating as we see Poppy. I'm gonna call him Poppy. DeMarcus said his name is Louise. I ain't even giving him all of that. Is whooping the mess out of a young Fame, and he's looking for his money. What the money was from, what the daddy do. We don't get none of that. They give us this flashback, and you get bits and pieces, and I always want more than what they give when they give us stuff, even though I don't quite care. Yeah, it's a weird position to be in. So Mama Olga, she steps in and intervenes by clocking him in the head with a frying pan, which, it gets her turned every which way but loose, and not in a good way, between the washer and the dryer and everything. So Jess has to go take Fame into the other room, and she's telling him, lock the door and don't open the door till I come back and coast is clear. Later on that night, Mama get her act together. She got her plan. She gonna get them the heck out of there. So they almost out. They on the way to the car, and here goes Sean. Oh, I forgot my toy. Damn it, we will buy a new one. Actually, they really won't, because they ain't got the money for it. But baby, no. So he goes and runs back inside by himself. Oh, you think she looks like Apollonia? I could see that. And he walks right in and wakes up the sleeping beast. I said, baby, no. Now Mama Olga got to go in there and poke this man, and then they got to run out to the car, and baby, they barely get in that car and drive away in the nick of time. I said, ooh, I felt like Jess, girl, have the car running, but at the same time, I guess she didn't want the car running to wake the man up. But Fame screaming, and the daddy screaming, and the mama screaming, and everybody screaming. Candy says the flashback tied up Fame's story. He had a rough upbringing. You enjoyed? Okay, so I guess I'm just a tough customer. I was like, baby, why? Baby, why? I do not care. Yeah, I guess we did get to see his upbringing, and it was the foreshadowing of what we were going to get at the end of the episode, which was him no longer being here. Shall I pour it out? Shall I not? I mean, I guess what they're giving us is he's gone. So we're gonna go with that. I don't, again, I might throw a conspiracy in there later or not. Sprinkle. So they arrive. They're at a shelter. They don't have much of anything. Breakfast is 7 to 9. She's giving them the rundown. They got a social worker that's gonna come in, and Jess is trying to, rub Mama's shoulder and, comfort her because she's scared. She says they got nothing. But he's like, Mom, I'm gonna be there to protect you. Will you? Will you though? But all sons think they're their mother's protector. And I'll say starting over is better than the chaos that they were living in. Obviously, the father was completely trash. So you don't want to be in that as a mother, and you definitely don't want your kids in it. So starting over ain't that bad considering those circumstances. So we fast forward, we get back to the present time, and Olga's sitting at the police station. She looking hella frustrated, baby. She's sitting with Garcia, and you can see her trying to gather her thoughts, gather her words, and say what needs to be said, okay? Because you already know they've been giving you a tough time, so you don't want to come in there. You're in a police station. You don't want to be irrational, screaming, yelling, doing all the things. But this is your baby. Hey, Monique, 69 ways. So she's like, I came in to report him missing after 5 days. You told me to come back after 3 weeks. I came back after 3 weeks. You told me to wait 2 months. Now it's 3 months and he's still missing. I said, baby, the frustration of frustrations that I would have felt. I like hearing her say that after I just watched her like, okay, let me gather myself. I said, yeah, they make you want to hands and feet. So ever condescending, he's telling her he's not missing, he's running. There's a warrant out for him, but the mom is like, but he was here. He was talking to you. He was telling you things that you wanted to know. So I'm like, child, y'all think Fame was in there? Fame was in there snitching. We did see him talking to the police, but y'all could have gave us some of that since it was going to be the whole famous episode. But I digress. So she's like, he was going to turn himself in. But Garcia is telling her, listen, he is a fugitive. And if you're worried about foul play, I suggest you go start talking to Kanan Stark. And she's like, no, Kanan's Sean's best friend. Garcia tell her he's into a lot of bad things, and being his best friend is a dangerous business. We saw that in the preview. Indeed, it is a dangerous business. And Fame was not built for this. We're going to talk about that a little bit at the end of the episode. He's not built for this, but, he was riding for his friend, and Kanan had had enough. And Kanan is, he's getting a little bit of the hard heart and the evils and the means, even though he don't know what the fuck he doing. So there's that. Because it's his show. Well, really, it's Rock's show, if you ask me. But Kanan aggravates me and makes my ass itch the most out of anybody else. Meanwhile, Marvin telling Rock, they're over at Rock spot, that none of their spots got product. The barrels was empty when they roll up. He's like, David didn't know nothing about it, and Terry is not taking his call. Oh, whack ass, punk ass Terry. That's all right. We dealt with Terry in this episode. So he's like, the ones that have some left, they may do, but most of them they're dead, they're out. So they got to figure it out. Now, Miss Rock, she's not a happy camper about any of this, because we're not going to play with her business, okay? You're not going to play with her dollar bill, y'all. So she tells him, listen, the cops came by and told her that Andre was gone. And Marvin's like, damn, I missed that ninja. He got them out of a whole lot of ish. We talked about that either last episode or the episode before, like what a great loss it was going to be for them to lose Andre, because Andre took care of it all, okay? Andre was with the Walla magic making things happen, got them out all the troubles, and they're deeply entrenched in it. Rock is steady trying to grow this business. She's gonna have a lot of people coming for her. Plus, Kanan is he a wild card and a little bit of a loose cannon. And you got Neek, peeking up, sneaking up, creeping up that she don't know about. So she really could use Andre's assistance. But alas, Andre has gone on to glory. May he rest. Amen. So Kanan is asking OC, like, oh, are you keeping your eyes open? Like, he's like, oh, nobody's seeing ish. I said, you did, sir. You did. You seen something. But Kanan's looking for answers. And he brings up, Damon hitting the spot and Rock saying that he's not smart enough to do it alone. But OC's like, I kind of don't take a genius to hit a dope spot. He's like, it takes a bold one, though. And he ain't got that in him neither. And that it was grand opening, grand closing. We talked about that last week for Damon. Damon was in it and he was out. So OC's like, I know it's not in my business, but it's not. What's going on with the cash that you're taking out of the business? Isn't your mom going to be asking about the profits? And Kanan's telling him, like, listen, it ain't got shit to do with you, and you don't need to worry about my mother. You got to worry about my mother. Our books is our business. So he's kind of telling him, like, we're cash poor and inventory is slim. If you need money, then just say that. I said, right, Kanan? Because what are we even talking about here? You could kind of see the wheels are going for Kanan. The wheels are going for us. Some of this we kind of peeped last episode, but we didn't really get to talk about it. So now here we are. He's like, listen, Rock is getting a new supply at a better price, and the rest is my business. Do what I tell you to fucking do, okay, little ninja? That's what he wanted to say, but he didn't say that. And I have meant to mention that last week when Neek kind of let OC live, I'm like, he probably is, working for him, in bed with him, and we just got further confirmation of it now. And then even further on in the episode, they really, really get into it. I'll say, yeah. I might have known. Because I thought he was, going, but he's still standing. I don't know about strong, but he's still standing. Who is worse as a mother, Joyce Thomas or Olga Figueroa? Dang, I really can't stand Joyce, and I know your team, Joyce. Your girl pissed me off this episode, DeMarcus. She done pissed me off. Oh, God. I can't even choose. You guys get that in the comment and give your answer. I want to say Joyce. We'll go with Joyce. Although, Olga, how could you turn your baby into the cops, so to speak? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Mo. My only issue with Famous mom is her turning in that, rat-tat-tat-tat and getting that boy in trouble, because you know how things go. You know how it is out here on these streets, girl. Well, maybe you don't know how it is on the streets, but you're in the hood. and they not black. We black. They not black. But as a POC, a person of color, you know that you are not beloved in the eyes of the law anyway. So why you would turn your brown child over or turn the weapon over, which is in turn going to turn him over. Why she would do that, I don't know. But I feel like that's the only thing I really seen her do as a mom that I was kind of like, When meanwhile, Joyce's list is a lot longer. Look, DeMarcus is the only one on Olga because he like Joyce. He like Mama Joyce. DeMarcus likes the underdog. It's okay. It's okay. So we getting back into it. We later see Kanan and he's going to a storage place and he has he got some money with him now. He looking behind him the whole way, looking behind him. I was like, ooh, somebody gonna run up on Kanan for sure is what I thought. And it didn't happen in this episode, but I feel like that's foreshadowing for us. Like you ain't get run down on this episode, but the fact that OC is looking suspect, you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you looking over your shoulder, it's only inevitable that's gonna come up sooner or later. So he makes it inside. We see him unlock this trunk, and that's got like a nice chunk of change, like a nice sum. So he adds the rest of what he's got in his bag, and he head on out of there. Y'all let me know how much money y'all think was in that trunk. Joyce never lost a kid. She almost lost Lou. She almost lost Lou. Hey, Lonnie Love, and she honestly could have lost Marvin too. Yeah, I agree, Catalyst. Olga is the dumber of the two. Yeah, that was a bonehead move, but she seemed like she was at least a loving mother and trying to be there and do the right thing. Whereas Joyce, she just the same way she said her husband gave up, that's the same thing she did. So here we are. So Juke goes to meet with Mara, who tells her that the cops believe that Aaron's death was a result of a home invasion. I said, I don't know how they got to that, but go off. And Mara asked her kind of, did you have anything to do with it? And Juke is like shocked and surprised. Who? Me? Would I do that? What? Why would you say such a thing? I said, come on, Juke, with the act. With the acting. And Mara's like, it's just kind of weird. The day that it happened is, when you asked me where he lived and I gave you an address. But Juke, she's cooking her feet, baby. She's cooking her feet. So she's like, I got it. So if he grabbed you up again, I would know where to find you. I just want to keep you safe. I didn't kill anybody, girl. I didn't do that. I said, come on, Juke. Go off, sis. Go off. So Mara apologizes, but she also says, I've slept better than I have in years. And it's really a relief that she had wished him dead so many times. I said, oh, baby, he must have been well, he did like an SOB because for you to wish somebody, that's powerful. But we seen the way he tossed Juke around and grabbed her up by her collar and threw her in that car. So that's that. And this is just music to Juke's ears. That's all she needed to hear. And I also thought last week when we saw that it was hella messy, like, why would you ask for the address and then directly beeline over there? Like, you couldn't get that address no other way. I thought that was messy, but it's a show, so I'm gonna let it go. Y'all, they say your girl be picky, and I guess sometimes I do be a little picky. Now, do you think that this is it from the Mara situation, or do you think that this is going to come up later and be a problem for Juke? Because I just, sometimes on Power we open things and we close them and it don't make much sense, but it be closed. And sometimes we open things and then it pop up later. I was trying to figure out if this is going to be one of those things, because I thought by the previews that Mara was going to be a problem, but they trying to show us that she won't. So Joyce want to be with Elijah E-Train Thomas. Well, let her go on then, DeMarcus. Let her go on to be with E-Train. Thank you, P. Bronson. Thank you, P. Bronson. I'll be speeding over my words. So the police is just going to forget about all the DNA all over the room and found fingerprints that Marvin left. Yes, thank you. Because your girl be picky and they be like, girl, it's a show. Just let it go. But I'll be like, it don't make much sense. And I'm not even a criminal, but it just don't make much sense. I feel you. That's how I felt. And a robbery, and ain't nobody see nothing. I get being in a private and quiet place and stuff like that, but I just was like, yeah, this is typically not how this would go down, but it's raising Kanan, so here we are. I don't know if poor Marvin gonna make it to the end of the season. Do you guys think that we're gonna lose Marvin and that's gonna make Jukebox kick into overdrive, or I don't know. Like I had said before, I have been asking for a more evolved Jukebox, and even not so much Kanan, but we know Kanan got to get there too, because Kanan was an SOB and so was Juke and the OG Power. And I think we only got one season left, which is why I asked for it. But then I asked for it, liking this, kinder, gentler Juke. But here we are. Jukebox needed the justification. She thinks she's got plot armor on her now. That's possible. So later on, we see Juke again. She's helping Marvin with his wound. He got, the stitches and whatnot. She, ripped the Band-Aid off all quick. He looking at her kind of crazy. And we find out, or she says that they taught her, first aid and basic. I said, so the whole military storyline, because all your girl complained about that. The whole military storyline was just so she could be like a flawless, over there to save Marvin's life and so she could, stitch patch folks up. That's what we're doing. Oh, okay. I thought that too. Robbery, and what did they take? What did they take? What did they rob? Child, make it make sense. This is what they're doing in the storyline. So I'm going to try to have to just let a little bit of it go. But, I'm just going to say it. So y'all don't think that I didn't see what I saw when y'all saw what I saw. Okay. So he wants to talk about what happened to old boy. And she's like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, I'm okay. He's trying to tell her, these things can have an effect. They could cause nightmares. It's not something you really, the average person should take lightly, although Jukebox upbringing hasn't been necessarily average. So she is like, was you or him? The police think it was a robbery. Mara's happy. So, he's gone. We did a good thing. I was like, okay, girl, she gonna have to get a little nightmare or something. I'm with Marvin. You can't just take somebody out and then just everything just be all peaches and cream. But, these kids, they think they bulletproof. So we going to let her have it. She don't, Omarion, she don't feel no ways. So here we are. So he's kind of putting it on the army, the way she may be desensitized to the whole, situation. But she says, no, she's comfortable with it. It ain't because of the army. I said, yeah, now, Jukebox, like I said, she has seen a lot of things in her life. Her dad's a OG, her auntie a OG, her knucklehead cousin is now in the game. So she's seen a lot more than she should have seen. Her own father, had her between the washer and the dryer over being a Lebanese. So there's that. Plus, just all the violence in the neighborhood and stuff like that. That's what she's trying to infer. She did give us that Joker smile at the end of the episode. She wasn't trembling. She wasn't shaking or nothing. So Lou didn't go last time, but we see he's out with Imani. I think the lady's name is. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And they're checking out talent. Now, the first act, Lou say, ain't it. You told me you was going to show me that real stuff. And, this ain't it. But the next guy we see, it's a white dude. The beat to the song kind of sounds like Gas Face to me. I just, in my, whatever. And Lou's kind of saying that he got some flow. So we get to one last group a little bit later on. And Lou is vibing the last group. Draw Down Disciples. So he's like, you just may be onto something. We see them another day. They're in the office. And she's telling him, listen, I reached out to Drawdown's manager and they're interested in sitting down with you. So he's like, cool. He's like, what about Logic? That's what I'm going to call the white guy. DeMarcus said, he's supposed to be MC Search. Maybe, perhaps. She's like, that's going to be a little bit harder because his mom is his manager and she's a prominent lawyer. So any deal with him may be complicated. Thank you, mama. Thank you, mama. You are clear, mama, but mamas aren't important because they was definitely screwing people back in the day on this in the record industry. They gave you Wu-Tang, not Timu Wu-Tang. Yeah, I could see that. They was flowing. I ain't know none of them people, and I feel like some of them people is some people that I'm supposed to be known, but I don't know them. Just like Party is Virilla, I feel like they're not a group, but I feel like they supposed to be somebody. Definitely was giving you that Wu-Tang vibes, even though they supposed to be in Queens, but just the same. Why do I keep trying to get rid of that and it's not going away? So she's like, but they both went to the same college, which is Brown. So she may be able to, talk to her. She talks about she took some classes at RISD. Lou said he went to RISD too, Rikers Island of Drama. I said, Lou is a whole fool. Be real to remind you, ODB. I can see that. So she invites him out for drinks, but Lou don't drink. And I said last episode she was cute, but we're not gonna mix business with pleasure. But apparently we're mixing business with pleasure. So she's like, all right, let's skip drinks and come on over to my place and I'll show you my record collection. And it was funny when she said that. I said, oh, okay, she's going to show him that record collection. All right. And it turns out your girl was not wrong. That's what she meant. I was like, because she giving him the eye. She giving him that look. She giving him that action. And I am not mad because I love me some Lulu. I'm glad he's getting some help. And I just want him to be safe and be okay. I know this is not that type of show, but I'm going to just say it because Malcolm Mays on this show, he just be so fine when he don't be on the stuff, child. He be so fine. He been on a bunch of other stuff, and I ain't looked at him like that when he was on Snowfall or nothing. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So Lou gets a page, so he got to go. He got, take a little rain check and whatnot. What'd you say, DeMarcus? Imani is a friend, the attorney that will help Lulu and Rock since Andre brought. I hope so. I hope they find somebody. Although I hate to mix all of that in together because his business is supposed to be Lou's business is supposed to be his business and to be away and be separate. Even though he did look like he was using Andre to help him, even though that was Rock's guy. But yeah, they gonna need somebody. Who's going to be good as Bronze, aka Andre? Who is going to be his replacement? We need it. Although, yeah, we're going to need it because eventually Garcia's ass going to get back to being on them, especially with the whole thing with Famous and him pointing Olga and Kanan's direction about Famous, and that's bound to come back and give us some action. So Rock and Marvin, they show up to this warehouse and they looking for Terry, but David is there just high as a kite. I said, y'all just all getting high on your own supply. And Marvin wants to know, listen, why are the products in here instead of moving to the restaurants? So he apologizes, but he being kind of, he's off. Marvin give him some of that, what did the five fingers say to the face, okay? He ain't got no time for the foolishness. He's not there to play no games, and they playing with the money, okay? He don't like it, Rock don't like it, and we got a problem. So Rock is like, listen, maybe you didn't understand this little arrangement, but now you do. And so effing with us would be a bad idea. I said, go on, Rock. Go on, Rock, and tell him. So he's like, all right, I'm going to tell Terry, but he was scared after the robbery. Rock is like, listen. It was a misstep. Everything is good now. Rock be selling them some dreams, okay? Selling them some straight up dreams. She said, we're going to get this moving by any means necessary. Whatever I got to tell you, whether it makes sense or not, that's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, we're going to move this thing along. So basically, she's like, get this work moving. And the guy's like, all right, I'm going to talk to Terry. So they on the way out, and Rock is talking to Marvin like, listen, I'm gonna need you to go talk to Terry because that fool, he ain't it. He ain't all there. So Marvin's like, I don't know if the young girl ish is gonna work as a threat anymore. And Rock is like, well, I'm gonna need you to figure out because we can't press pause on business. Time is money, and they're already losing both. So she's like, no one can move this work like they can. So press hard, but not too hard. I said, child. This is the same conversation that Stefano had with him, and that ain't go too well. And it's kind of a little bit of the same situation here. They get to talking ish, and Marvin get the pure. He can't deal with all that. So Miss Olga, she done called Kanan and Juke over. So they sit down, and she's asking them about Sean. She says, the police said that, you might know where he is. And Kanan's like, which police is that? Garcia, indeed. It's Garcia, because he's good for shits. Okay? So he's like, he's lying to you. We're just as worried as you are. That's kind of what him and Juke is both saying. And they're like, we don't believe that the streets said that the streets say that he up and left on his own, but they don't believe it. They think, they think something happened to them. Something happened to him because he would not leave without saying goodbye to them. I think he should have at least said goodbye to Juke. If, because Kanan was being an arsehole. So I don't know if I would have said bye to Kanan, best friend, or nah. So Miss Olga starts to crying and Kanan gets a call. And it's a family emergency, so they got to go. But they're like, listen, we're going to see you again. We're going to find Fame. And if somebody did something to him, then we're going to find him too. And I said, no, I don't know if he should have said that, especially considering what happens later. But, go off. She didn't say nothing about it then. That's why I feel like that line may come back to be an issue or it may not. Because sometimes I think stuff is going to be an issue and it don't be an issue. And some stuff that I don't think is going to be an issue ends up being an issue. So we get another flashback back because Mama Olga is constantly, reminiscing, going into the past. And, she's out of the shelter. They're in a place of their own. So I said, see, sometimes you just gotta start over to get to a better place, especially when you're dealing with trash like that. So she's calling Fame for dinner. And then when she comes in the room, he hiding astray in the closet, child. But she lets him keep Hulkster. I said, baby, not the Hulkster. And I said, child, I guess it could not be me, not a stray, just in. But I guess after everything that they've been through, as a mom, she's like, she want to give him something. I guess she figured, we're going to keep the little mangy mug, going to feed him a little scraps under the table. It's going to be all right. Life going to be good. So Kanan and Juke, they get over to Mama Joyce's. She done fell again. I said, why do this lady not have a life alert or something? I've fallen and I can't get up. She needs something, okay? Because she's just old and mean and over there sick by herself. So Juke is about to call the ambulance and Joyce is like, I ain't got that kind of money, She's telling her she's fine. But Kanan's like, what if you messed up something during the fall? She's like, what am I going to mess up inside that's worse than cancer? But Juke don't pay her not no mind. And she calls the ambulance just the same. Let Kanan and his skimming and his drug money or one of them pay for the ambulance, ma'am. It's all good. You ask for money any other time, somebody else gonna pay for it, okay? So Unique, he making his rounds, baby. He go to see the Italians and he talked to Phil because that's where Teresa had sent him last episode. I'm assuming gave the little paper, so the little paper over said to go see him. So he's like, listen, I'm talking to you out of love and respect for Teresa and not putting her in your ass, okay? This is what the guy Phil is saying to him. So Nick is like, Rock tried to take me out. She took my business and put my brother down. Ma'am. I mean, sir. So episode 1, you remember it was Ronnie. Now this time, I guess he's thinking that Rock put Ronnie up to taking him out. And then Rock took Ronnie out. Sir. Is that what he's thinking? Because, baby, we know Ronnie was not wrapped too tight. So Rock couldn't have got him to do nothing to nobody. He definitely did check him. So he's telling Phil, listen, she also took out Sal. So now, basically he's on the war path. He's trying to F up her life, grab back the blocks, blah, 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 blah. So he's asking him if he wants a piece of it. And he says, listen, Teresa may not have known, but I do. At the end, Sal was not a fan of yours. And Unique is like, listen, it was a miscommunication. And it turns out he was right. So he's like, I'm willing to admit my past mistakes. And Phil's like, I ain't hear nothing about Rock trying to take them out. He don't say that. He got to throw black in it. But at least he ain't call her no B or no other type of derogatory type of slur. So we gonna let him have it. And Unique is asking him, like, what would you know about what happens on the South Side? He's like, I keep my ear to the streets, okay? He's like, you're not a great bet because you've been elbowed twice. Like, why would I give you a third shot? I said, you just got to tell the sir what the facts of the matter is because here we are. So he says, no one plays the game better than him. But Phil reminds him, but you lost. So maybe it's time for a new sport, baby. Why he say that, okay? Because Unique is on his tick, boom, okay? He's ready to go. He says, he just needs a team at any event with the eye for revenge and a bad attitude, Fendi bag and a bad attitude. Anyway, Phil say gonna pass, all right? he's not about to back him against Stefano in New York. But if you show him you could build an organization and put together a real plan, maybe we could talk. But until then, get the F out of here. Is basically what he says. It was just kind of the same conversation, if you think about it, minus the F out of here that Stefano had with Rock, just a little bit more nicer because Stefano was a little more receptive to Rock. But it's kind of essentially the same conversation. Speaking of Rock, she goes and meets with Quan. He ain't happy that the last payment was the old price. You know, you were short on the increase. She said she ain't agreed to shit. I said, I know that's right, Raquel Thomas. And he's like, you didn't need to. You just needed to pay it. I said, well, touche. So she's like, exactly, what is your problem with me? Okay. He says she's messy. Your businesses get hit, people die, and you sit on your hands. But she's like, I move with plan. I move with a plan and a purpose. Unique's body is even cold, and here you are. I said, I mean, it's a little chilly. I mean, it's not freezing cold, but it's chilly. He's gone. He's been gone. And why are we bringing up Unique? Like, the business has to go, which is the same thing I was saying about Unique. I don't know why this man is acting like this. If you don't want to work with her, then I'm sure you could have found somebody else to work with. But the show must go on. The business has to go on. So if not Unique, then somebody else. But I digress. So he's like, he may have been limited in his visions, but he's talking about Unique, but he respected him because he was a man of his word. He's telling her that she liked honor. And Rock asks, how are you a man of your word when your word don't mean ish? We agreed on a price and you changed it because you miss Neek. Because you miss Neek. I said, You get respect, you gotta give it. You're looking for a man of his word, and I'm just looking for a man. I said, come on, Rock with the bars on bars on bars with heart, but that ain't you. This is some bitch shit. I said, oh, okay. I knew Quan didn't like that. So he's like, I met your son, nice kid. Hopefully you're better at being a mother than you are at business. And she said, F you. And Quan says, thank you for your services, okay? Thank you for your services. You know your way out. So that's the end of their business relationship. But it really doesn't matter because Rock is on the job. Okay. She was trying to get away from the situation to begin with. She said, I paid you what I owed you, and I'm not giving you a dime more, and it is what it is. Quan was spitting facts to Rock. She couldn't Oh, really? What facts was he spitting, DeMarcus? What facts? Now you team Quan? You don't like Rock, huh? But you like Mama Joyce. Okay, DeMarcus, I got my good eye on you. It was mutual because I don't like Quan no way, okay? And Rock was spitting facts too, okay? She was spitting facts too. So over at the hospital, the doctors are saying, Joyce is going to have some bruising from the fall, but basically at this point, she's going to need round the clock care at home or in a facility. Hospice. She needs hospice if she's on her dying bed. Hospice has been a thing, but again, sometimes I'll be doing a little bit too much on these shows. So Lou walks up as the doctor is like wrapping up, explaining, and the doctor is like basically child, not my alarm on my phone going off loud. The doctor leaves it up to Kanan to basically explain everything he said. I said, oh no, that's what we pay you for, sir. That's what we pay you for, not you leaving it to the minor to explain to me what you should have said. But here we are. P. Bronson says, do Unique think that everyone would get off drugs and just because he was unallowed? Exactly. The show must go on. That's why I understand why he's so pressed. Now, the one thing that I do get is Rock said they broke up or ended their whatever they was doing, situationship. And she said she was getting out of the business. So for him to, supposed to be unalive and then, wake up one day and he's okay. And now she's back in business and she's got his business. I get where he feels a little, but at the same time, if it's not her, it's going to be somebody else. Would you prefer it to be Kanan, or who else would you want it to be? Because we don't know who else is really in the business. It was him. It was Rock. They're saying it's a territory issue with Queen. We don't even see who the territory clearly is. It ain't no black folks. So I don't, it is what it is. Oh, Sugarfoot. Oh, that's what we on. Joyce Thomas is not a snitch like Rock. I'm gonna let you have that one, I suppose. I still don't like Joyce because Joyce is a low down, dirty. Shut your mouth. Okay. I wonder if Joyce threatened to snitch on Rock organization, would Marvin have taken out? Nope. Nope. I wish we got a little backstory. While we getting backstories on Famous a little more. We know the father took himself out. We know he had problems with alcohol and he was a musician and all of those things. And we're seeing similarities with Lou. But Rock said, she cussed them out and beat them down and all of that type of stuff. What else the relationship was. And, they say parents have a favorite. Who was her favorite kid? Was Marvin her favorite kid? Was Lou her? Just a little bit of that. Since they're gonna give us everything else, y'all could just sprinkle it in. It don't gotta be a whole. It don't gotta be a whole lot. Candy, he just don't like Rock. That's why she would snitch on. That's why Joyce would snitch on her bread and butter. He don't like Rock. That's why. Which I get it. Yet and still. So, like I said, the doctor leaves Kanan to explain everything to Lou, and Lou's like, listen, they're talking about her needed a nurse. Lou's like, I ain't not gonna be able to do it. Can we do it? Not gonna be able to do it. Okay. He will be back on the bottle. I said, and will, and definitely will. So Kanan's like, we need to hire somebody. And I said, in the meantime, can't you get somebody else to do it? Why can't you do it in the meantime? But they didn't already got a nurse this episode. So I guess they move fast enough. So Marvin, later on, he's in there with Joyce, and she tells him, like, listen, you're stronger than you think. Don't let your sister make you think you're shaky. I said, triangulation. Bad mamas across the world. So Marvin, he wasn't even thinking like that. And that's why I said triangulation. Y'all be so busy trying to get one sibling to think the other one thinks bad, saying something bad just to get it. Baby, the bad mom of it all sends me on a place when I be trying not to get on my soapbox. But Joyce, I want to knock Joyce's head off in this moment because I was like, that triangulation is a huge manipulation game. And I'm just watching her try to puppet, Marvin strings. And at first, he kind of was like, he wasn't even thinking like, I don't think I'm shaky. I don't think I'm weak. I don't think that I'm that type of person. So she's telling him, how much the cancer hurts. She's getting all upset. And you could tell when she's talking, it's affecting him. And she's like, wouldn't take much to give me a little bit too much of the pain meds. She on that morphine, right? She's like, I'll just go to sleep. He's like, if you sleepy, then close your eye. If you sleepy, then close your eyes. She's like, not that kind of sleep. There's nothing left for her here except pain. And I get that. I get it. So she asked him to do her a mercy. He tells her, like, ask the doctors, but she knows that they're not going to do it. That's why she's asking him. So she's like, you're my oldest child. I'm your mother. We're supposed to take care of each other. Oh, the manipulation of it all. So he asked her where he can get it, but she said she already got it. She bought extra off the nurse. Baby, where you get the money from? Anyway, selfish as F. And you can see Marvin is affected. Like when he walks out the room in the hallway, he's trying to gather himself. You can see how he was affected. And like I said, Joyce pissed me off, but we'll talk about it when we get to the end of the episode because I left some of that for that. I didn't want to dump all up in here and then, with everything else happening. You don't understand why he would like Joyce. He just, DeMarcus just likes the underdog. So we don't like Joyce, so that's who he likes. I thought Unique was all about Southside. That is a person he wants to take his spot. Yeah. Well, he's got that brain damage. Is all I can keep turning it back to. So he's not thinking straight at all because a lot of stuff that he says is not even making sense. Like it makes sense, but it don't really make sense because we know. I don't know why he would think that Ronnie would be susceptible to Rock trying to turn him against Neek. Like your brother beat you all about the head and threw you in not the dumpster, child, but basically the dumpster. So I don't, we're going to go brain injuries. We're going to go with brain injuries. You like Rock. However, I don't justify for Rock like everyone. Okay. But you going back in the past to what she did so many years ago. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. Anyway, yeah, we're not taking our parents. We're not taking our parents out. DeMarcus says, what's the difference between what Rock did to Lulu and what Joyce did to Marvin? What did Rock do to Lulu when she said she owned him? Is that what you're talking about? I would say the difference is Joyce is trying to do like a subtle manipulation and trying to pin her kids against each other. And as you know, she's trying to like sugarcoat it. Rock is just very direct. I'm not saying that Rock is always nice. And sometimes Rock ain't don't be ish either, especially when it has come to Lulu. That's why I'm kind of glad she let Lulu go at this point. But she's direct. She's direct. It's always worse when you have somebody that's pretending to care for their own agenda and trying to, you know what I mean. So Rock done popped up on Hafiz. I said that we didn't get the man's name last episode. I guess I just missed it, even though I watched it 2 times. That's the man's house that she went to have the tea and talk to business. And he said, don't call me, I'll call you and we'll get to it. So she's like, does he say the same thing this time? Like I said, don't call me. I'm going to call you and let you know what I wanted to do. But Rock says, listen, we're on different timelines. And if you're not going to work out, like I need to know ASAP. Like yesterday, today's price is not yet, all of that. So he says, listen, it's compelling, but he needs to meet with her other partners. He knows all about the territory issues in Queens. And she says, listen, I could set this meeting up, but it's my deal. It's me and only me, and ain't no going around. So he's like, you speak like someone who's been betrayed. She said, and she moves like him too. I said, okay, amen. Get to the point. Like I said, yeah, Hafiz, I got it this time. I ain't get it last time. I don't think you was in the live last time either, DeMarcus, because I know you would have told me. But I was like, that meeting was so quick. I was like, did we get his name? How power gonna change Joyce? Yeah. And then don't want to babysit her son. Yeah, she sure is. Yeah, I had questioned if we changed. Well, I think somebody explained to me because I knew the kids didn't like her. I knew she was into the church. But I thought she was supposed to be mean and evil. And then we had all this interaction with Kanan where she was trying to be nice, sweet grandma. And they were like, well, that's grandma, but that's not, the relationship she has with her kids. But I'm like, Kanan didn't really want to go with her either. So I'm inclined to believe that he didn't think that she was such a nice person either. But, he kind of has warmed up to her, and the lady ain't here for long, because I thought that's what that phone call was. When he said it was a family emergency, I thought Joyce had gone on to Glory or to the low place, the hot place, either one. I ain't really care. I'm gonna just put that up there, DeMarcus. I'm gonna let you have whatever it is you want to say about Joyce. We are all entitled to our own opinion, so I'm gonna let you have it. And she ain't been in her right mind since her husband died. Is that what you're saying? Okay. She might not be. Now, I'm not about to make no excuses for her, because you ain't gonna make none for Rock. So I ain't gonna make no excuses for Joyce. I ain't gonna make no excuses for Joyce. So like I said, Unique is making his rounds. He roll up on OC. OC complained about this damn hay fever, baby. He says it's not so, it's he say the mole is worse than the pollen. After he asking for tissue and Unique telling him to wipe his nose on his sleeve, I said, ew. Now I said, sir, OC, is it that it's the hay fever, or do you got that summer cold like peaches and snowfall? What y'all think? He got the hay fever, or he got the summer cold? So Unique want to know, what does he know? So he tells him, listen, Quan and Rock got beef. He raising the prices. She's looking for a new supply. And Kanan is skimming. He's taking every week. He don't know what the plan is, but that's what he knows. So he throw little man out the car. Now, my question is Kanan stacking his money for his reserve, like Snaps and Pop told him, or he's making another plan? He got a side deal with them, or he got a side deal with Quan. I'm trying to figure out what exactly he plans to use this money for, because he didn't tell him, which we can't tell OC, because we don't trust OC. But what y'all think the money's for? At first, I thought it might be for the reserves, but it also could be, like I said, a side deal with them or a side deal with Quan. I'm not really too sure. Thank you, Mo. Mo said she is in her right mind, DeMarcus. Okay. He said Joyce is in her right mind. I feel like she could, right now she has cancer. So yeah, okay. She's not in the best of spaces. When the husband passed, she's not in the best of spaces. But man, we done had so many years in between. So many years in between for you to be playing these reindeer games. Okay. And that's why I kind of hit Rock in the feels when she was talking about by the time she came back around to make it right, it was too late. And I think that's what Rock was thinking about Kanan. But I'm like, yeah, you and Kanan's problem is this whole game. Because if it weren't for the game, y'all might be able to reconcile some things. But yeah, this is not going to be the he has the same cold famous. Ain't that the same famous had the same one as Peaches, right? It was on that stuff. Getting high on your own supply. So speaking of Neek, aka Ronnie 2.0, he's still putting the money in Pernessa's mailbox. We saw that earlier on in the episode. So now we're at Rock's house. She getting home, and here's Pernessa. Okay, she thinks that Rock's been doing it because she feels guilty. And she tells her, like, we've been getting them for months. But Rock's like, I didn't do shit because she had loved at him. She had loved at Neek, and she was going to have his baby. Okay, maybe not. But anyway. So she says, maybe he did right by one of his friends. And so they're doing right by you. Free cash ain't nothing to complain about. Pernessa said ain't nothing free. And you know that. But Rock just kind of look at her and go on in the house. And Pernessa just kind of stand out there like, well, alrighty then. So we coming up on the end of the episode. Marvin goes, he pays Terry a visit. Terry in there talking hella shit. So Marvin's like, listen, you can run, but you can't hide. He said, it is what it is. You can show my wife that photo. Because remember, I think it was last season that they had set him up by taking a picture of him with the girl. And then he was going to show the wife, blackmailed him in his position. But Marvin, you had just told Rock that you did not think this was going to hold anymore. So I don't know why you didn't have a plan. She told you to make a plan. I don't know why you didn't have a plan going into this whole situation. Okay, so you think Kanan's trying to get his own connect. Who are you going to get to be the connect, though? Because Rock about to be trying to be the distro out this mug. You say everybody check Rock. She ain't check Rock, DeMarcus. No, she didn't. Look, see? Candy Love missed it, too. Candy Love missed it, too. Rock should realize that the Unique is alive because of Pernessa. That's why I'm saying we should put the pieces together. Now, he's already showed his face to the Italians. Right? Early ain't gonna tell on him. We ain't get no Early this episode. Early ain't gonna tell on him. Early ain't about to not be here for working with Marvin, I fear, because Unique needs but a half a reason. But yeah, I think we're gonna get the pieces that lay everything out for her to find out. You guys let me know what episode you think is going to happen. Is it going to be that awesome episode 8, or do you think it's going to be either like 6 or 7 that we're going to find out? Because we did see when we got the trailer for the whole season that Rock says something about it's Neek and he's effing with us. So she definitely going to find out. And baby, if y'all let it be the finale, I will knock all this shit over, child. Not Marvin is a peeping Tom. Marvin had a job to do. Okay, he had a job to do and he got the job done. Famous had a cold. Yeah. He did. You said Rock is slow sometimes. I only get her being slow because you're assuming somebody's dead, somebody's gone, although we never got a body. So if you don't get a body, it could be a possibility. But if you think somebody's supposed to be gone and then they start doing those things, it really wouldn't make no sense for you to put together that, oh, maybe the person that I thought was dead is going around and doing all this. But now that he's shown his face, he's going to show his face to Quan, he showed his face to Phil. We got the OC thing of it all, Pernessa. We could put the pieces together. How Pernessa didn't check Rock. It's laughable. Child. That's what DeMarcus said. Unique could think clearer if he told Pernessa he was alive. You think so? I just figured Pernessa might not say anything, especially with Ronnie being going, hallelujah, praise be to God, okay? But I think his biggest thing is the kid, because once that, kids can't hold nothing. Yep, he did. Let's see what you're saying, DeMarcus. Pernessa checked Rock by saying nothing is free, and Rock walked away because Pernessa was spitting facts. Oh, that's not really checking, though. I mean, it is a fact, but okay. And you know that. Oh, okay, so she do. When Rock is like, and I ain't got nothing else to say about it, so I'm going to head on in this house because you think I didn't do it. I told you maybe you got somebody else to do it. No, nothing is free, but okay, girl, that's cute. Take the money and goodbye. So Sir said he prefers divorce over death. Marvin said that's because you ain't never been dead. You ain't never been dead before. I said Marvin is a whole fool. He said I didn't plan to go to he said I didn't go to the police because you blackmailed me, but now Sir said he ready to tell everything. Marvin tells him, don't do it. Please don't do it. He said, I'm not scared of you, and the police won't be either. Baby, he turned his back, and Marvin tells him basically he's playing with fire, but Sir is still just, he's talking. The mouth is going. He's giving it a gabbing, and Marvin shoot that man. Pop, 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 pop. And pop, 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 pop. That's right. You counted 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 6 times. I said, okay. We just got Marvin out of trouble last season by taking out Howard, and here we are. All that woosah, damn you, Gerald, all that woosah that Marvin had is gone. And I understand and I get it. But, sir, you should have had a plan. I don't know if this is going to be a problem. Andre's gone. You just did the same thing with Stefano's guy, and you got early to replace him. So that takes care of this problem. Rock told you hard, but not too hard. And so now here we are. What is Rock going to say about all this? What's going to happen to the other little crackhead brother? What are we going to do about that? Like I said, should have had a plan. You told Rock that the blackmail wasn't going to work, so you should have figured something else out, sir, okay? You should have figured something else out. What else he got? What else legalities he got? You telling me you going down to something. You should have figured out something, Marvin. So anyway, Lou and Imani, baby, they are laid up, fresh off a nice little session, okay? Laid up in the bed. He said, you want to show me your vinyls? She said that was just a lie to get you in the bed. I said, see, now I thought there really might have been some vinyls involved, but I know when she said it, that what she meant was her vinyls, them vinyls. And she said, he's like, it works. She said it always works, but it's been a while. So she started asking about Jess because she has done her research, and he says that's been over. And I said, is this going to be a problem? Because what research are you doing? And then, he got a past, and she's supposed to be a squeaky clean girl from what we get from it. So I'm hoping that don't end up being a problem. I'm always giving everybody a side eye. So, she cute and all that, but we got to give her a side eye too. So Lou says, don't ask my neighbor, come to me. I'm showing my age. So she asked Lou, can he run it? Can he run it back? I said, okay, I am loving Lou getting back into the sheets. Okay, I hope it doesn't affect his recovery, but I love to see Lou getting the sheets and do what he got to do. Okay. So Marcus says, Rock is always rattled and running away. Rock is the runaway bride. Okay. So we see a young man, and some people seem to think that she said Lulu is always going to pain. Yes, we had missed that because he was on the stuff and acting crazy. We straight killers, yo. He was out there. So now he's back to some sense of normalcy. Like I said, I hope this does not affect his recovery, but by all means, okay? Mixing business with pleasure is also a risk that we might not want to take. You're not supposed to shit where you eat, what the people have said. But yeah. That was, is that season 2 or season 3? Yeah, he was tearing his ass bad. And I think that was around the same time with the situation with the guy, and child, Yeah, do you think that's Imani asking Lulu about Jessica is going to be a problem? What else did she find out when she was doing her research? So we see a young man, as folks seem to think is a young ghost. I don't think it's a young ghost. I think he just was a conduit. We just needed this person to get to Fame's body. So we see a young man. He in the bodega. He looking kind of suspect. We knew he about to steal something. The store owner looking at him. He looking at the store owner. He creep up the aisle. Is he hungry? Does he need some food? No, he steals a 40. And then he ends up bumping into somebody. So he take off running, and the owner is after him, child, around the corner, down into a building. I watched it the first time, and I watch it at work, and this is such a dark show, and I'm watching on the phone, and sometimes it's just dreadful, but I got to watch it because otherwise I can't be on social media because y'all be spoiling things. And I had already got a little spoiler anyway, but I had kind of anticipated. I think it was about Fame, but I had already kind of anticipated because I knew it was going to be a Fame episode that, anyway. Was it okay? He was on something, child. Cancer, you gotta look for it. Early gonna go back to SNL. He going from powerful. Is he? Oh, so they probably gonna take him out then. They probably gonna take him out. I had a feeling what's the name was gonna take him out anyway. Crazy Nick was gonna take him out anyway, so that'll be that. So, like I said, after I watched the scene the second time, because I said, not you running out your store, leaving your store wide open while you chase this man around the block, up the corner, into the thing. But there was a second person standing behind him. So I said, oh, all right, cool. So he rolls up on him, but the young man at first he was hiding. Did he shocked? So we're trying to see what he sees. So he gets up, and we see that there's a hand under the mattress, and it looks like the second time I looked at that looked like one of them, polo type of shirts that Fame would wear. And they kind of lift the mattress and then drop the mattress, and the little boy throws up. Child, I would have thrown up too. I ain't never seen no dead body, child. Hey, Tamika. You can't see him being funny. Child, who knows? Child, who knows? I could see it. I could see it. So we see Mrs. Figueroa. She's there to ID the body. But Garcia, he don't really want to show, the body with him looking like that. So he let her know like his ID was on him. They're working on the dental records. I want the dental records, y'all. Y'all said the man is gone. I want the dental records. So, but she wants to see. So they pull him out and they lifted up that sheet, and maybe the way she shocked and burst into tears. I said maybe Mama was doing her good acting. Okay, her good acting. Now okay. We're gonna go with this. So who do you guys think? Yes, please hit the like, turn on the notification, subscribe. Who do you guys think took Famous out? Please get down. Let me know your thoughts and your theories. And do you truly believe? We talked about this earlier. Candy said he done going on a glory because the mom identified the body. We didn't see the body. So is it no face, no case? And he really just is, on the run, J and B. I don't think after thinking about the mama having that reaction, or you think it's going to be the town? Yeah, probably. And Marvin's ass about to be in trouble too because he vouched for Early with Stefano. You did say that earlier. You think Snaps did it? You think it was Ronnie Mathis? Okay. Only reason I'm saying that he possibly could still be on the run with the mother seeing the body and identifying the body is we don't know what the face looked like. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been somebody else. We don't know what was done to the body. Maybe the face was decomposed and you couldn't really recognize the face, but some of the I don't know. I might just be, dragging it. I done heard some people say Marvin. I heard, hey, Stephen Harris. I done heard a bunch of things. So I don't know. And I'll say this, after what she said he gone, she gonna prepare Tamika gonna prepare to repass. I'll say, okay, the only reason I feel like I'm so hesitant is they sold us that Unique was gone. Unique wasn't coming back. Joey Badass did all these articles. He was supposed to be gone. He was supposed to be doing his music, go on his tour. And then I guess that didn't work out. And we wanted him as fans. And so they brought him back. So, and like I said, I know the actor who, Ortiz, I think his last name is Ortiz, is Antonio. I can't remember exactly. But I know the guy who plays him is in some trouble. I can't figure out what the trouble is. I tried to Google it, couldn't find it. If y'all find it, like I said, leave it down in the comments. But yeah, Candy said, poor Tink Tink, his mama identified his body. I would think that's enough. They have one season left, so I guess it could be fate. Yeah, it probably is him. Like I said, the Unique thing just kind of threw me for a loop. And then you know how Power do. But with y'all could be right. With one season left, I'm gonna let it go. Joyce Thomas doesn't add any value to the show. Explain that to your buddy DeMarcus. Stephen. Explain. We going to get into Mama Joyce and her raggedy ass now. Could be Howard. That's another possibility. He could have took him out before he met his maker. Now Famous turns to Sasha from Family Business. Yeah, I forgot about that too, because she was on this show, and what else was she on? She's on a Tyler Perry show, I think, too. I can't think. Is it Sisters? She's on Sisters, and then she was on this for 2 seconds. Yeah, I was mad when he took Sasha out. DeMarcus, I'm not gonna hold you. I said, well, yeah, I was gonna take it, and I binged all 5 seasons, and I was like, doggone it. Yeah, they do be up on the tricks. Can't find no info on the actor. Yeah, I can't find anything about what's going on with him personally. Is what I can't find. Yeah, I thought it was Sisters. See, Stephen, he don't like the Joyce Thomas hate, but we about to get on it. Cause she's back home. They done got her a nurse all quickly. And Marvin comes in, baby. He got the vial, he got the needle, but Marvin, he cannot do it. And I didn't want him to do it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm like, Marvin, you were already spiraling out. I hate that you have done a 180. You were growing so well. I hate that Gerald did this to you, and we're back to this. So I was glad that he didn't do it. He says he's sorry, and she's like, get out of my sight. I can't stand this. Can't stand to see you. Marvin, sorry. I said, well, you sound like a cartoon character. Marvin, sorry. I said, lady, then you damn do it. Do your hand shake? It don't got to go in there perfectly. You done managed to get the money and get the product. You take the needle and do it your goddamn self since you want to go so freaking big. She done pissed me the hell off. And I said, that's a hard position to put somebody in. And I get it. And you're in pain and you want mercy and you don't want to be here anymore. But it's extremely selfish of her to ask him to live with that once he's done it. When you haven't been on good terms in years, I can understand some people will be willing to do that for their parents. I don't think I could. Even feeling the way I feel, I just don't think that I could do it, because then you have to live with the fact that you're the person that did it. But then again, for me, it could be not on good terms thing. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that, they love their parents and they would do anything for their parents. So if their parents came and they was like, I'm gonna need you to, help a sister or help a brother out, that they could do it. But I think in order to be able to deal with that, you would have to be on some better terms. I mean, hell, take them to a state where it's legal and you can get somebody else to do it. That's just how I feel about it. Like, that's just too much, when you think about it, just to do something like that. It's really on my head. It's really on my head, and it's really on my heart. And I'm just like, yeah. I had another thought on it, but that's for you, DeMarcus. What do you like about Joyce? He says she's a true villain. Marvin probably was giving Joyce Thomas her. I don't know about that. She learned to be a villain from Joyce. They both got a funky ass attitude. They're strong women, and they both have that funky ass attitude. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, they might just need to go to another state where something like that is possible, because that's not cool. Look, see, I started going off it, and I calmed myself down, child, because Joyce had pissed me off. I'm like, why would you ask him to do that? And he looked so hurt. Like, why would you ask? And he wanted to do it. He really did. But I was like, I'm glad he didn't do it. Let me move on, child. If I have to come back and read Joyce a little bit more next episode, I might read her a little bit more this episode. But this episode, I'm gonna let it go. Like the TKO. Yeah. And hopefully she gone soon, child, because I can't do it. So Quan is on his way out. And up walks Neek, and I said, here we go. I thought you was dead. I've been getting that a lot. Now, we don't see what their conversation was, but that's going to be a good situation. I said, it's so ironic that he just told Rock, thank you for your services, because she done cussed his ass out. And he was saying that he respected Neek, and him and Unique were so much alike, and the honor, respect, and all of the things. And that, whatever. And then ironically, here he goes popping back up. So I said, now, do y'all think that Kanan is going to work with Quan? And I don't know if he's going to do snaps and pop. I hope he don't. But he's got that relationship with Quan. You think he's going to work with Quan and Unique? Because Kanan ain't he really ain't shit. So we don't know. We see poor Mama Figueroa crying her eyes out on the bus on the ride home, and she's reminiscing to the last time, when she promised not to kick him out again, and he was talking about all the things that he did and stuff like that. And that's when I think I was asking earlier, would you guys turn your son in, or would you turn the weapon in? I said I couldn't. No, we have to find some other way to take care of that, because that would not be the way. Not with a black son, or a son as a person of color. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. I want to flip the daggone bed over to Tamika, because you raggedy witch. Like I said, why you can't do it? You done got all the supplies. You can't unalive yourself? No, you want somebody else to do it and put that burden on somebody else? That just, like I said, there might be situations and instances, but just no. Okay, yeah, that's that. You know what, DeMarcus, I'm kind of glad you said that, because that was the other thought in my head. What if Joyce was on life support? What would Marvin have done? I would hope. See, that's a little different. Being on life support, DeMarcus won't answer your question. I'm really glad you said that. That was the other thought that was, because my brain, it be going a certain direction and then it goes, because that's when I was going off of her and I was going to say something. Like I said, I think that you would, first of all, I think you just go to another state that does that and get them to do it, as opposed to leaving it on a child's hands. But if you leave it on a child's hand, I don't think it should be a child that was having like a turbulent relationship with you. It should be somebody that's on good terms and that's willing to do it if they wanted to do it, which I still think that's a lot, because you're going to carry that with you. But when it comes to being on life support, I feel like that's a totally different situation. And I feel like if I had to let somebody go that was on life support, because I've had a family member say that to me, that if they were, down to life support in vegetative state and they were never going to be coming back, that they don't want to live like that. Would I want to do it? No, but I feel like I would want to respect that person's wishes. So I think I would be capable, and I think Marvin would also be capable of doing it. But that's two different things. Life support versus taking somebody out, but two totally different things in my opinion. Rock gonna put work together. Unique being mama started mysterious. Ugh, you're not right. Oh God, my lips ain't working. I'm trying to read your comment, Steven. Rock is gonna put 2 and 2 together because of Unique's baby's mama telling her about the mysterious money around the time her business started to get a hit. I think so too. I think DeMarcus said she'd be a little slow, which like I said, if she is slow, if we believe that the man is gone, I could understand why she wouldn't. But at some point, she's going to have to. And like I said, I think we did see in the preview of the for the season that she's gonna figure it out. Chris Red early is funny on SNL. Oh, okay, Black Jeopardy. Have I seen him before? I wonder. No, it's a different guy. Wait. Is he on the clock app? Is that the same guy? Because he's bald headed. I have to go look. I hope that's not the person I've been looking at the whole time. I gotta go look. I got to go Google that, look it up. Joyce Timers could have been too weak. Get somebody else to do it. That's a possibility too, but you're just gonna have to get that weak old stab in your wherever you stabbing it. Yeah, Unique has completely forgot Ronnie tried to take him out and was jealous of him all last season. I hate to say it, but Unique character has become unlikable and has to go. Hatred toward Rock is unnecessary. I agree, Stephen Harris. I thoroughly agree. We wanted him back, but we didn't want him back to be Ronnie 2.0. We didn't like Ronnie, so why would we like another version? Deborah says Rock. You think Rock would have done it? I feel like Rock wouldn't have done it, because it'd have been like, I'm still giving you what you want in some way, shape, or form. And she said she couldn't forgive her, so would she give her mercy? I don't know. Team Uncle Marvin. Yes. Yeah, I know he's bald because Early's bald, but there's a guy on the clock that does. He's like, I don't know. I have to go. I don't even know what his name is, so now I gotta go look. DeMarcus says that is no different. Y'all make no. It is different. And it's not an excuse that I'm making for Marvin. I'm likening it to real life. In real life, I cannot euthanize somebody. But in real life, if a family member asks me to fulfill their wishes, that they're on life support and they're in a vegetative state, I would honor that. That's two totally different things. That has nothing to do with me, because and I thought you liked Marvin, but that has nothing to do with me wanting to stick up and say whatever for Marvin. That's just honestly how I feel. That, like I said, that was a thought that I was trying to get, and I went off to another place. Let's finish this out. So, because we at the very, very end. So we see Kanan gets a call. He's like, asking, are you sure? He hangs up that phone. He throws that phone across the room. He picks up Famous's tape. We kind of hear his song playing in the background. And then we hear the OG Kanan saying, like, you wanted me to say he deserved it. He wasn't built for it. I don't give a fuck. You only get one best friend, and mine's is dead. That shit hurts. Don't look to me for no words of wisdom, because I ain't got nothing for you. I'm sad. You should be too. And baby, Makai was doing his good acting, okay? Makai was doing his good acting. He did a really good job showing the emotions for this ending scene where he finds out about Famous. I got this picture of him at the end holding his head. Makai is a really great actor as a whole. I just hate when he does his mother. I hate when he does his 50 accent, his mother. I rather his regular voice as opposed to Patina and Haley. I prefer Rock and Juke to their actual voices. But Makai, I prefer regular old Makai's voice, because he's such a good actor, y'all. So up next week we got Kanan and Lou. They want revenge for Fame. They pouring out a little something. We look like we might be getting a funeral repast or something possibly. Kanan still skimming and pressing OC for information. Phil wants Stefano gone, but he can't do it, so he wants his people to take him out. And Neek is showing his face to somebody else again, child. We don't know who it's going to be this episode, but here we are. Let's read the rest of these comments. Baby, yes. You felt bad having to give your mom more in hospice. But see, that's the place to do it. In hospice would allow you to do that. And that's what I said. If the person is comfortable with doing it, then so be it. For me, I would not be comfortable to do it. I would be more comfortable with taking them off of life support. And I think that would be really hard. But, you also have to have that relationship. Like, why would a person who's not, anyway. RIP Famous, best episode of the season so far. Pulled on all the heartstrings. Marvin is murking everybody. He has at least 5 bodies and counting. We know Lulu and Imani. Yeah, we did know they was going to hunch, child. Team DeMarcus Vaughn. Am I crazy? What you team DeMarcus Vaughn on? You agree with him on the Rock situation? Oh, we do make excuses, but I don't feel like I'm making excuses. I make excuses for certain things, but that I was not. I'm not making excuses about that. When I was making excuses a little bit earlier, I'm gonna give them that one. But when it comes to I just don't think I can do it, child. Joyce asking Marvin for mercy was hard. I know my mom. If my mom told me something happened to her, not to let the doctors drag it out. That's going to be the hardest decision I have to make in my life. Yeah. One of my family members already they still here has told me that. And I'm like, I hope I don't have to be this last deciding factor. Symphony wants to be with Rock, however, she turns Symphony away. Yeah, because Symphony, like, you want another innocent person going and all mixed up in the game. We want to protect Symphony at all costs. So the best way to be protected is to be away from that woman. Because I like her, but you will not fare too well being in a relationship with her, because anybody that's close to her, their life is in jeopardy. Team Symphony and Pernessa. Yeah, that's your two innocents. I'll agree. I'll give you that. Child, listen, I get it. I get what you were saying. And I do agree to a certain extent. We do make excuses. Just with that, I don't, like I said, I've had that conversation, and that one's not an excuse. When we arguing back and forth, or we are not arguing, we're expressing our thoughts, like, about Rock and Pernessa, and whether Pernessa check Rock or vice versa. There be some excuses made there, but when we're talking about life and death, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Stephen Harris says Quan and Unique teaming up is definitely going to be trouble for Rock. Yep. Not that she isn't already in it, but she's slowly losing her influence, and she doesn't have any other muscle besides Marvin Lulu said he about to get back in the field, but only for Famous, though. Only for Famous. She has other people. Marvin is just her main muscle, and I guess they decided they're not going to pay all these side characters to be doing all this foolishness, okay? They ain't going, because we see people in the warehouse was powing, and those had to be her people, but I guess they just decided we're not gonna be paying everybody to have a whole bunch of lines and doing a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, she did something about a bride. Rock said that she's not a bride because men didn't seem to listen. However, okay, so then that's why you call her the runaway bride, DeMarcus. I'll give you that. I think she just was talking figuratively, because that's what she told that last man when he said he was married for 40 years or 40-something years, and she said that they had jumped the broom and that he wasn't getting out of the situation. So she wanted to liken her business arrangements to marriages, which, I mean, it is kind of like being in a marriage. You definitely be married. They definitely be married to the game. But I don't think she actually wants to be married. But, she was definitely giving us those metaphors and stuff, in my opinion, this episode. So, yeah, that's that. It was a good episode. Like I said, I wasn't really a fan of the flashback, but y'all say I was being a little rough. Candy said we needed it because if we was going to put Fame to bed, we couldn't just find his body and not find out where we came from. I mean, we saw his sister, we saw his mom. I guess we got the background that his daddy wasn't ish, and we got that memo. So now if we're saying he's gone, everybody's saying he's gone. Everybody in the chat saying he's gone. We got the daddy on the suspect list. We got Howard on the suspect list. I forgot. I should have wrote it down. Who else did y'all say? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm scrolling back up. Ronnie Mathis, Snaps. So we got some good theories. I'll try and go back and write them down when I come off of here. So I'll have them in case we get a definite answer by the end of the season, so I can shout out whoever had the right answer, because I ain't got the answers, way. I ain't got them. I like Sir Unfound. I personally defend his craziness because, yes, I like Sir Unfound too. Now, P. Bronson, you got me thinking, do I like Sir Unfound just because he's Zach? I don't think I like him just because he's Zach. I like the crazy character, although sometimes I'll be wanting to slap him in his nose. I'll slap your nose off too. So I get what you're saying though. I definitely do that with some characters. Definitely do that with some characters. Because I would listen. If they hadn't made Unique so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or Ronnie 2.0, I probably would be defending him. I'm not going to hold you, because I love me some Joey Badass. And I especially love him as Unique on this show. So I feel you. Philip Russo, don't play. He will be more ruthless than Stylist Stefano. Yeah, it looks like next episode he's not here to play with y'all. Lou will be back on the streets in the next episode. But I don't even want Lulu back in the street, because I was trying to send Lulu away somewhere so we could protect Lulu at all costs, because it's not looking good for Marvin, and Lulu just got his life back together, Steven. What if he never been to a dentist? What if who never been to a dentist? What did I just say? Because I'll be saying stuff and then I'll be forgetting what I said. Oh, you're talking about Famous for the dental records. I was wondering that myself too. Not specifically that, but I was like, what if, I don't know, child. I always question the dental records thing too. He probably has. They're not going to be They're gonna wrap it up. They're gonna wrap it up. Rock says she could love Unique. However, she said that it was like a vacation. F Rock, she was very toxic. Yeah, Rock doesn't need to be in a relationship. Unique was her best bet because he was in the game, but we see what she does, Symphony was like a vacation. We see how she does with the men that she even be in the game with, which is why Unique is spinning out now. Jeff Con and what's the other one? Mm, Child, I'm forgetting. You just finished that episode. Ooh, baby, that was that. And that didn't he? Didn't Zach? I think Zach produced that episode. That was. I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow, Tamika. That was a really good episode. Yes, Lord. High Post, Def Con and High Post. Ooh, I know it was one of them funny names. Famous death is more sad than I could have imagined with his backstory. It's like, yeah, R.I.P. Pour out a little something. Rock aimed backing from Quan, but that ain't enough. She should have. I think Rock was trying to conduct business the proper way, which is why she told Marvin to be, tough, but not too tough because she needed the people. But yeah, sometimes you just got to go. Yeah, it is. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I definitely would you know what I probably would have done? Which is probably not the best idea either. Because look, I know they have those events sometimes you could turn them in, no questions asked. But then I feel like, is that a gimme? Is that a gimme gotcha? Are you still going to get in trouble for it? What I probably would have done, probably not the best idea, is to be like, get that shit out of here, take it and get it out of here, and make him get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? At least that wouldn't be me taking it to the police officers and be like, I found this in my son's room. Oh, baby. Baby, baby, baby. I'm putting that boy out, child. Uh, which death is worse, Raina, Nicole, or Famous? Raina! Even though Raina girl wouldn't have been me. Leave my brother alone. Baby, he is not well. And now you gone, boo-boo. Now you gone. Oh, that's your watch. I'm like, what is that vibrating behind me? Child. Do we have a break? Tamika, do you know? Because y'all be knowing better than me, son. Do we have a break or we back next week? If we don't have a break, I'll be back next Saturday. Talk about episode 6. Anybody coming through on the replay, please leave a comment. #replay. Drop an emoji. You could put a little teardrop face emoji if you want for fame, because we said, a little something, any something. And just tell a friend. I think I have to vibrate like that. To tell a friend to subscribe, please and thank you. Help you grow out. Okay, they already have a trail out for the next episode. The break is after episode 7. Okay. Cool. So we got 6 and 7, and then we got a break. Okay, I'm good with that. 7's probably gonna be really good. Then I thought 8 was supposed to be the really good episode, but the formula ain't formula like it used to, because I thought usually 5, I think, is a little. Not that this episode wasn't good, but I think 5 is typically gives you a little bit more than what we got here. But we're this season, I feel like we're really creating stories. We're focusing on people. So like the first episode, we really got the flashback and really just got all the story out on Unique and everything that had happened that we missed. I don't think we needed to see all of it, but we focused on that. We focused on Famous and his mom and her situation and her story. We really got that. And we got all of that amongst all the dealing and the wheeling and the Marvin taking out people and Rock making arrangements to be the biggest queen pin ever. So yeah. Nah, Steven, you giving your rating. Pernessa being mad at Rock and still thinking she took Unique out is awful writing, especially after the moment them two shared last season. Refresh my memory. What was the last moment they shared? I know she said told her that she didn't do it. And I know Pernessa knows they were had a little something going on, so I don't know why. I know Ronnie was the one that first got her thinking that way, but now you're gonna have to make me go back and watch. Just tell me which episode it is. I'll just rewatch it. I'll just rewatch the episode, Steven. What are you saying you give that? You give the episode a solid, I don't see a number. I don't see a number, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I'm gonna go have a little snack and take it on down. Join me like 1:15 tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing a weekly huddle, talking about a little hot topics. And a little hot topics. What came out on TV this past week? Check in with you guys, see how you guys are doing. All the things. Okay, you give it an 8. Okay, yes, that's 7.58. I agree with that. You didn't like the last episode, P. Bronson? You talking about the last episode of Found? All right, y'all. I'm gonna get on out of here. I appreciate you guys ever so kindly. Ronnie even knew Pernessa was good for Unique. Yeah, she was a better fit than Rock. I'll give you that. I appreciate you guys coming through. And I will see you good people in the next video. Peace.